Hey, I'm back again. You missed me? So I just recently graduated college, and at this time where I'm supposed to know what's next and what I'm gonna do, I can tell you confidently that things make just as little sense as they did before I got into college. But I'm not talking about jobs and future plans or anything boring like that. I'm talking about how many things I go through on a day-to-day basis that I will never understand because there is no world in which these things can make sense. And if they don't make sense to me, then I'm sure at least one other person watching this can relate. So I got on here to rant about it because this is my channel and I can do what I want. What are you gonna do? Unsubscribe? Please don't. You all knew this was coming, so I'm gonna get it out the way. Traffic is by far the most annoying thing one can encounter while driving. And for those of you who don't have licenses yet or can't legally drive yet, let me be the first to tell you, traffic will make you regret ever getting behind a wheel. And I wanna drill this idea into your heads. Unless the weather is really bad, and I mean like really bad, like it's raining acid, like battery acid or something. The only reason that there's traffic is because there's one idiot at the front of the traffic who can't drive. Genuinely, if everyone on the road knew how to drive, there would never even be traffic to begin with. Which in theory sounds really simple to do. We all took the same driving exam for the most part, but there's always that one person that puts all that time and effort into learning how to drive to shame. They'll start switching lanes with no signals, cutting people off, ignoring yield signs, or choosing to wait till the last possible second to switch lane and take their exit. Then you got the folks who can't drive but swear they're in the Fast and the Furious. Look, I'm all for speeding. Personally, I don't like to go anything under 80, 79 if I'm in the school zone. But there's a huge difference between going with the flow of traffic and behaving like a NASCAR driver in your Nissan Altima. And the rules are very simple. If you're going slower than me, you're driving too slow and deserve to have your license revoked. And if you're driving faster than me, then you're a menace to society who deserves to have their license revoked. Because I don't know about y'all, but I'm the perfect driver. So if we all behave more like me, we'd never experience traffic ever again. Although I lied. Besides bad drivers, there's also another reason for traffic, and that's construction. And I'm gonna say something that may sound like I'm joking, but I want y'all to know that I'm 100% serious. I think construction sites are government experiments to see how long citizens will put up with getting teased and lied to. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a construction site? And then think about it further. When was the last time you've seen people working at that construction site? Chances are you've seen plenty of construction sites and not one person in there constructing. And for this, I got a little story. My college is about an hour away from where I lived, so when it came time for moving in and out of school, it was always a hassle. Not because the drive was an hour, but because the GPS told me the drive was an hour. But then I would always get to this stretch of the road where there was like this half-mile long construction site, and every single time I would get to that point, it would add like 20 minutes to the drive. And that was freshman year. I literally graduated a few weeks ago, and I can guarantee you they've made absolutely zero strides in that construction project. And I'm talking like the same traffic cones have been set up in that one spot for at least the last 4 years. Keep in mind, I've only been going to college for 4 years. It could have been there before me. It's probably going to be there long after me. And yeah, an extra 20 minutes probably doesn't sound that bad, but if you add that up over multiple trips to and from home, I've probably spent like at least a week worth of time in traffic. In fact, according to sources that I'm going to gatekeep, the average driver spends 48 hours waiting in traffic every single year. I don't know about y'all, but that's protest worthy. And I'm not talking like climate activist protests. I'm talking like looting and rioting. The next time I get stuck in traffic, I'm going to abandon my car and just start walking. And if there just so happens to be some lootable small businesses in the area, what happens next is not my fault. These construction workers will genuinely settle down for like 5 years to fix one pothole. And then by the time the potholes are fixed, 5 more have opened up. And while we're on the subject, I don't understand potholes either. I'm sure there's some explanation as to how they work, but I'm not gonna look it up. I got things to do. But I would imagine that because there's such a problem, they would have stopped building potholeable roads. I don't know how to build roads either, and quite frankly, I don't want to learn. But if I hit one more pothole that resets my car's radio system, I'm gonna have to loot and riot. It's non-negotiable at that point. Cyberbullying and being cyberbullied had never made sense to me. I remember in elementary and middle school, there was always an emphasis on avoiding cyberbullying and how to deal with it. And I always thought that was kind of dumb because like if you're online and someone's bullying you, then just get offline. Or not even get offline, just don't respond to the bullying. If you're on Instagram, you're getting cyberbullied, block the bully. Like, you're not handcuffed to whatever device you're using. If anything, you'd probably be better off going outside and interacting with actual people. Touch some grass, get some sunlight, reconnect with nature and whatnot. Because when you're outside, no one's gonna pop up and call you a racial slur in the comment section of a cat video. Don't get me wrong, there's in real life bullying too. So you might still get called a racial slur, but like, just thug it. And the same goes for cyberbullies. If you're so bored that you have time to get online and harass people, that you either need a job or some sunlight. Something you can do instead of being a bum. whatever it may be. Imagine waking up, brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, and then logging into your phone just to harass people online. If you're gonna bully somebody, at least do it in person. But I'm willing to bet that a lot of cyber bullies are the same ones getting bullied in person. So it becomes sort of like a cycle, a little circle of life. But the internet has really become like a version of public bathrooms or the wild, wild west. Nowadays, most people that get online are doing it to either scam somebody, get scammed, or they're watching dirty videos. And then you got that 0.1% of people who get online and like apply for jobs and do something productive. And you're telling me out of all those options that you have, you're going online to send somebody unaliving threats because they have different opinions than you. Like, imagine that situation in real life. You walk up to somebody in person and you tell them that they don't deserve to breathe because they like the yellow starburst and you like the pink starburst. And it gets even worse when you're like a celebrity. Well, no matter what you do online, someone's gonna be cool with it and someone else is gonna hate it. You could literally donate $1 million to charity and someone's gonna call you problematic. They're gonna say, why didn't you donate more, when the whole time they haven't donated $1. However, it doesn't matter which side they fall into, whether they love you or they hate you. These people are gonna be way too invested in your life. You could post a picture of you wearing some random color shirt, and for them it's gonna be proof that you're in the Illuminati. And these will be the same people who get offended hearing the word job. Excuse my language. The same people who couldn't submit an Indeed application if their life depended on it. Their Wi-Fi cuts out every time they hover over the apply button. And it gets even more random. Like, these people will post a picture on their Instagram story, and then some random lady in Spokane, Washington will have an entire TikTok series breaking down why they posted that song in their story. Like 10 parts, full analysis, peer-reviewed studies, research, talking like she's in an FBI briefing. Being that involved in someone else's life without them even knowing you has to be some sort of crime in cyberbullying. Call it felony unemployment. But honestly, meat writing to that degree might as well be a full-time job. At that point, you're not even a fan or a hater. You're an unpaid intern, voluntarily, with no benefits. In an economy where people are literally signing up for payment plans to order fast food, you would think that it could not get possibly worse than that, but you'd be so terribly wrong. Food prices at sporting events and concerts and movie theaters would genuinely send an elderly person into cardiac arrest. The tickets to get into these places is already so much money that you would immediately regret your purchase. And then you get inside and God forbid you want a little snack at halftime after watching the Knicks get their backs blown out for the 100th year in a row. You're better off driving back to wherever your house is, getting a snack from your fridge, and driving back to the game. Respectfully, the gas you'll spend getting to and from home will still be less than what you would have spent if you ate the food that they're actually serving at these events. And it's not even like the food is good. These mother fondlers are charging 5-star prices for these meals. A hot dog that is 90% meat and 10% bread will run you like $20, and for that $20 you get the hot dog, the dry throat because you know damn well the hot dog is not fresh, and then of course the explosive diarrhea that's bound to strike you at the final buzzer. And then after all that, you have to drive home in debt, not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. Whoever is in charge of regulating these prices needs to be put in prison. And I mean this with my whole heart. They have no room for redemption. They made me pay $15 for a cup of Auntie Anne's cinnamon pretzel sticks. Well, they didn't make me pay. Like, I wasn't strapped down and forced to buy the food, but still, I nominate whoever it is to be the first person to charge in this 100 men versus 1 gorilla fight. And if they're a woman, then the same treatment applies because it's 2025 and we don't discriminate. Wearing a ski mask outside with no ops or enemies in public will never not be silly. The original purpose of them being to keep your face from getting cold makes it even worse. Now, not only are you out in a public server trying to be all anonymous, but it's also the middle of summer and you're wearing a ski mask, black Air Forces, a North Face puffer, and black sweats. At that point, you don't even blend in. You stand out more than anybody in the area, and if you had actual ops, they would definitely know it's you. They would know that the guy that they're looking for is the only one wearing a full black fit. Have you guys ever seen that meme that's like, can you spot the main character in this anime? And it's like a bunch of generic anime characters and then a dude in the middle with pink hair, spiky boots, and a pet axolotl or something like that. It's essentially the same thing for these thugs, or should I say wannabe thugs. Now let me be clear, if you actually are a thug and there are people looking for you, wear your ski mask, especially around me. I'd feel much safer knowing that whoever's looking for you won't recognize you while you're around me. Being casualty in your beef is not part of my 2025 bingo card, but for those of you who simply want to live the lifestyle of a gangster after putting in 0 time in the streets, just know we all think you look silly. Everyone else is wearing shorts and t-shirts and you're out in a full blizzard ready fit. Dirty public bathrooms are one of those things that, quite frankly, shouldn't exist. To the point where I can only imagine that dirty public bathrooms are a punishment straight from God himself. They're supernatural. Public bathrooms are meant to be spaces for relief, relaxation, unwinding. And I get it, it's not like it's a spa or anything. You can't walk into a public bathroom expecting a happy ending, unless you go to one of those public bathrooms. But just because it's not a spa, doesn't mean it should be as dirty as it is. You would think that because they're public, everyone would understand and have the decency to at least keep them clean. Because think about it, when you go in there, what do? You do your business, flush, wash your hands, rinse, dry off, and leave. Very easy to follow steps, and not one of those steps involves clogging the toilet with enough toilet paper to rebuild an entire tree. There is not one requirement for you to pee on the floor. And no, I'm not claiming that all public bathrooms need to be as clean as a baby's bottom, but what I am saying is that they don't need to be as dirty as they are. Bathrooms in general get treated like war zones. I remember in high school, I would walk into the bathroom and there'd be like 30 kids huddled together and 2 of them in the middle straight boxing. I'm talking throwing hands, pay-per-view events, kids betting in the corner, a ref, a production crew, all of the above. And it's to a point where I feel like everyone who walks into a public bathroom has to be walking in there with bad intentions. Especially with social media being as big as it is, people walk into bathrooms and immediately use them for content. Remember a few years ago when it was like a trend on TikTok and Instagram with like high schoolers stealing literal toilets and sinks out of bathrooms? It'd be hard enough to steal a toilet out of a bathroom in your own home without somebody noticing, but somehow these children were lifting entire appliances out of bathrooms without a care in the world. The literal embodiment of 1.0 GPA activities. If you ever lifted a toilet, I have some questions for you. Some genuine questions and concerns. Number 1, how did you do it? Number 2, who did you get to help you? And number 3, where did you put it? If you could answer those in the comments, please go ahead and do that. Emphasis on the last one, because I can't imagine you guys are stealing toilets, putting them in a hallway, and then putting them back after you finish recording your TikToks. But yeah, in general, we gotta treat public bathrooms better. How would you react if somebody came into your house and clogged your toilet and just left without even washing their hands? Yo, bro, I might have used a little bit too much toilet paper in there, and I blew it up, so you might want to call a plumber. How did you get in my house? Now that we have the main things out of the way, I also have a few honorable mentions, and they go as follows. Taxes. You probably heard this before, but let me reiterate. The government knows how much money you owe them, but they won't tell you how much money you owe them. You gotta figure it out for yourself. And if you give them the wrong number and pay the wrong amount, then you get in trouble. But if they take too much money from you, they get to just give you a refund and face no consequences. That's totally reasonable and fair and makes a ton of sense. NASCAR. To any NASCAR fans watching, I apologize if I strike any nerves, but I don't get it. The car drives fast and they steer left. I feel like the amount of enjoyment you get watching NASCAR is similar to watching paint dry in a time lapse. The Minecraft YouTuber to registered EDP pipeline. I think this has existed since the creation of Minecraft, but I don't know. I wasn't around back then in the Minecraft community, so you know, someone let me know in the comments. Then we have taxes again, because genuinely, what are we doing here? Next we have Congress, and without googling it, tell me what their actual job is. Type it in the comments down below. Strong headlights on the car. If your car's headlights are blinding me, I'm going to intentionally drive into your car and then blame it on those lighthouse grade headlights. There is no reason for you to be guiding sailors on the highway. But that is all I have for today, guys. Let me know if I forgot anything in the comments down below. I might make a part 2 to this video one day, so I'd love to hear what else you guys want to see me include. Also, along with a few friends, I started a YouTube channel where we do a bunch of random challenges, and if that interests you, then go ahead and check the description for the information and subscribe and like, and you know. But with that being said, make sure you guys go outside, drink plenty of water, and have a nice day.